Hello, dear students! Isn't today a great day? Indeed, it's a perfect day to have fun and learn. I am Teacher MJ, your learning buddy for today. And you're listening to the second episode of Grade 9 English Lingophile Podcast, the show for people who are loving, living, and growing in language. But before we start this session, I would like to remind everyone to get your learning activity sheets, a pen, and paper. You may also want to find a place you will be comfortable listening. Along the way, if you have a question, you may ask the assistance of your guardian or parents, or you may list it down and send it to your teacher after listening to this episode. Are you ready? Right, I bet you are. Okay then, let the fun start! Nowadays, it is important that we know how to form decisions. And at the end of this session, I hope our students will be able to have weighed out decisions. But, before we dive into our topic, spare a minute to reflect about these questions. What do you think you would have done if one day you saw a man lying on a sidewalk, weak and dying? What would you choose to do? Help him or ignore him? I hope you were able to reflect on these questions. Before we start our discussion, let me share with you an article. It is about a pedicab driver who was left dying on the street. Yes, tragic, isn't it? I know. This must have agitated you, but hold your horses. Before I play the audio, let me give you first a few reminders. Number 1, make sure you are listening in a quiet environment. Number 2, use your headphones for clearer audio. And number 3, focus and jot down if necessary.
News today, the nosy news. His name is Reynaldo Carcillar, the pedicab driver whose death has sparked debate and introspection. In a few hours, while transporting a passenger on his pedicab, which he christened John in Denver, Carcillar would suffer either a heart attack or a stroke. In 2009, Carmencita said Reynaldo had had his first heart attack. He almost died in his sleep. That night 4 years ago, he was pale and cold, and apparently clinically dead for half an hour, she told Interaction. Without proper training in CPR, however, she instinctively and desperately pumped her husband's chest until he regained consciousness. Carcillar was not to be so lucky the second time around. He did not mention anything about his heart condition. He had merienda with his family. We were even joking around before he left. He took a passenger who was going to either San Andres or Estrada. He seemed alright at the time, but when he arrived in front of La Salle, a student noticed that he was slumped on his pedicab and thought that he was just drunk. Then, a security guard saw him and helped him out. Carcillar lay on a sidewalk right across the south gate of the De La Salle University in Manila for some time before help arrived. A stranger went to our place and told us that Uncle Naldo suffered from a heart attack, so we went to Estrada. He was lying right beside a gutter. I was trying to hail a taxi cab, but none stopped. I even had a chain which I used to get a cab. Some of the tricycles also refused us. Good thing we were helped by Agot Perez, a tanod at Barangay 729. It was around 7 o'clock in the evening, Liro said, adding he was in a hurry to get a cab because he could still feel his uncle's pulse. One security guard was taking care of him when I arrived. When Melchor called me, I saw Carcillar already lying on the sidewalk. Taxi cabs refused to take him. That's why I took it upon myself to bring him to the hospital in Manila. A Pasay City police car passed by but didn't offer us a ride. I left both of them there. I also heard some pedicab drivers shout that it was already his second stroke. I guess the heat in the morning and the afternoon, then the rains in the evening triggered it. They told us he no longer had any pulse. He was dead. Interaction looked for but failed to reach the DLSU security guard who helped Carcillar. However, another security guard witnessed the incident. I was inside the Henry building of the De La Salle University along Taft Avenue when I heard the radio alert about the motionless man on the pavement in front of the north gate of the university, said the guard who requested anonymity. He and several of my colleagues tried to help and give CPR because we have Red Cross training, the guard added in Filipino. But it was too late.
I think you're about to blow up ears. Isn't this article tragic and disturbing? Imagine how devastating it is to be in Melchior's shoes, asking for help but was aided. What do you think you would have done? From this article, you could see how people have the tendency to lean towards indifference. Well, what do you think should be done to change that? You may ponder about this question. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. A little compassion and sympathy could make a change. It doesn't cost much to help other people, be it a stranger or not. Nor does it take anything from you to support those in need. Each day, we are faced with situations in life that require us to make choices. Some of these choices are easy, and at times, some of them can be difficult. Whether it be deciding which strand to take when you enter senior high school, or be it which outfit to wear for the day. In the article earlier, did you make your decision easily? Did you find it hard to form your decisions? Do you find yourself stressed out wondering which choice to take? I know it could be hard and stressful, but worry not, dear students. At the end of this episode, you'll learn how to form your decisions easily. Are you eager to know how? Then, get your pen and paper and list down these 4 simple steps on how to form decisions based on ideas mentioned. Heads up for step 1, analyzing the situation. Yes, that is right. The first step is to analyze the situation. Do you also do this? Then, you're on the right track. Think of the situation. Your friend is being bullied by your classmates. What do you think you would have done? Help right away? Talk to your teacher? Confront the police? Well, the first thing that you should do is to analyze the situation. What kind of bullying are they doing to your friend? Physical? Verbal? Cyberbullying? Do not act hastily without understanding what is really happening. Once you have the grasp of the situation, that's where step 2 comes in. What do you think we should do next? You are indeed correct. If your second step is to examine your options. What are the possible solutions for the situation? Will you confront the police? Will you ask help from your teachers or guidance counselors? Maybe? Think of the things that you could possibly do to help your friend. Supposedly, you chose to confront the bullies, but nothing happened. What will you do next? Are you going to stop there? If nothing happened, then it is time for step 3. Look for alternatives. What else could you do to help your friend? Of course, if option 1 didn't work, then it's time for the second option. Now, are you excited to know the last step? I hope you are because it's very important. The fourth and final step is to make your decision. Hooray! After analyzing the situation, examining your options, and looking for alternatives, it is now time for decision making. Easy steps, right? Now, it is time for you to try and form decisions. Are you ready? Let us begin. Listen to this situation, then form your decision following our 4 simple steps. Your friends want you to take ABM strength, but you want to take UMS. What would you do? Applying the steps, what is the first thing that you should do? Nice! Analyze the situation. Imagine yourself in that situation. What is happening between you and your friends? Good. They want you to take the same strand that they want, but you have a different strand in mind. What is next? Well said. Examine your options. In this situation, what are your options? Well said. You could either tell them that you want to take UMS or just go with them to ABM. Good job so far, everyone. What is next? Very good. Look for alternatives. For example, you told your friends that you do not want to take ABM and they got mad at you. Can you think of other ways to solve the issue? Good thinking! You can explain to them the reason why you do not want to go with them, or you can treat your friends to a nice meal to make peace with them. Which will lead us to the final step, and that is... Excellent! Select your best solution. Between the alternatives that you have, which do you think is the best solution? Very good. Explain to them the reason why you do not want to go with them. Tell them what you really feel, and if they understand you, they are your true friends. If not, well, I think you're better off without them. Good job, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this activity. Well then, I know you are anticipating for this, so open your book on page 210 and do the task entitled Case Closed. In this activity, you will form your decisions in relation to the situations presented in the pictures. You did a great job, everyone! And that's for today's The Lingo Pal Podcast in English 9 episode. Listen to another learning episode next week where we will evaluate the relevance and truthfulness of ideas presented in the material viewed. Don't forget to submit your answer sheets to your teacher. Learning is always a process and not a product. Despite this pandemic, we admire your determination and interest in further enriching your knowledge of the English language. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye!